Hey y'all. I've gotten many requests for an update video on the whole suboxone ordeal, and of course I came through it the other side, and I was a better person having done so. But with that being said, unfortunately, I did relapse, and I relapsed on heroin, and I was using heroin for about 3 or 4 months. I don't know. My time is always so skewed for me when I'm using. I can remember my fiance. Um, I was telling her, oh, it's only been a month. It's only been a month. I can handle this. I can do this. And she kept saying, Taylor, it's been four. It's 4 months. And here I was thinking it had only been a month. So time for me is always warped when I'm using. Um, so I did relapse. I did, unfortunately. Uh, I had the wrong person around me at the wrong time, but I don't blame them. I blame myself. It was my choice, and I was influenced by others. I allowed myself to be influenced by others, and unfortunately, it brought about a relapse. Um, what made the difference this time, and I want to say that this time I did go to a drug rehab facility for 30 days. I made the decision. It was a hard one, but it was a necessary one. I was going to say necessary evil, but it wasn't that at all. In fact, it was enlightening. It was helpful, and it was what I needed to learn about my disease, our disease. If you're watching this, you probably have problems yourself, and if you do, then my condolences. I know how you feel. It was hard for me to make the decision to go, but given the circumstances and how far I'd gotten in such a short amount of time, for y'all who've done heroin, you know that it's exhausting, and it doesn't take very much time for it to become so. It's exhausting, and it takes and it takes and it takes and it gives nothing back. Nothing. And I have a daughter that's due September 16th, and I was high the day after I found out that I was having a child. I relapsed after 2 years. I think it was, no, I don't think, I know it was just a lot to handle. It was with a young lady that I hadn't known very long, and everything just kind of hit me at once, and that was my way to deal with it. It wasn't a good way to deal with it. It's not a good way to deal with anything, but that's what I did. Can't explain it. That's what I did. Um, I used for about 3 or 4 months after that, about 4 months to be exact, and it was. I mean, if I had to be completely honest with you, and it's hard for me to acknowledge this as a truth, but I'll go ahead because it's important for my recovery to do so. Um, we had our baby shower. I didn't know where my next fix was going to come from, and I started pawning my unborn child's things. It didn't take very long for me to realize that at that point it was too far for me to do on my own. So I ended up putting myself in an in-treatment facility, $30,000 for 30 days, $1,000 a day. Um, Worth every penny. I know it's kind of hard to believe when you think about it, and for any drug addict, think about it in those respects, but it was definitely worth it. What I learned and what I took from it and what I gathered was that I'm sick. I have an illness. And for the last 15 years, I've been at least on something. Whether I don't know, I had many excuses. Whether to go to sleep, whether to feel normal, whether to, fucking whatever it was. It was always something. And um, it had gotten to the point where I would use anything to feel okay, to feel good. So while I was high, I was having a baby. I asked a girl to marry me. We moved into our first house together. And when I went to in treatment, I'm not gonna lie, I had to process a lot of that because it was those are the three biggest things for any one person to go through in their lives, and I did it while I was high. So I knew that coming back, it was going to be difficult to wrap my head around everything that I had done. I didn't know how difficult it was truly going to be. I made a lot of promises and I said a lot of things when I was high. Um, if you're an addict, then you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not, you probably still know exactly what I'm talking about. Everyone does it to some extent, to some small extent. Um, I was surprised that when I got out of rehab, I had a lot of emails from people, quite a few, in fact, regarding my suboxone withdrawals, regarding how are you doing now? What are you doing with your life? So on and so forth. Well, I'm here to tell you I fucked up. And I'm here to tell you that relapse, there's no shame. I know it's really hard to wrap your mind around this, but there's no shame in relapse, none whatsoever. Where there is shame is not seeking help afterwards. And what I mean by help is doing NA, AA, IOP, which is intensive outpatient treatment. Um, you have to do the things necessary. You have to do the things that you have to do to stay clean, and it all depends on how important your recovery is to you. And if it's not that important, well, you'll know pretty quickly. Um, because your health will fucking deteriorate in front of your fucking face. Every single time you look in the mirror, you look deader, closer to fucking death. And and that's what heroin did for me. So everyone has that kind of waking moment, that moment where, oh shit, you know, it's real now. It's real. And it was kind of when I was starting, no, not kind of, it was when I was starting to pawn my daughter's things. That's when it started to become real that I'm not that I'm masking some deeper issues, and I'm not gonna get into that because this is a fucking YouTube video. Uh, this is just an update. But rehab for me did exactly what I spent the money for it to do, and that was help me with some of the underlying issues that I was facing, some of the issues that I completely forgotten or that I had thought that I had abandoned as inadequate to me, but really they're there. And I can't tell you that that's the reason why I used, and the things that happened to me when I was a kid, that's the reason why I shoot and put needles in my arms. I can't say that. Um, because I just don't know. And ultimately, what I learned was it really doesn't matter why you start. It doesn't matter. And what matters is how you quit, when you quit. And what matters is your life. It's my life. What mattered to me was my life. I keep speaking for y'all, I shouldn't. What matters to me is my life. And I have a daughter coming, and I have responsibilities, and I've got to teach this little girl how to live her life morally and with purpose and with love and with passion and with a caring attitude towards others. And heroin is just, it's not a part of that. I've decided that heroin is not a part of that, and it shouldn't be. And I can only speak for myself when I say that. I hope that when you're watching this video, you have some sort of coming to terms with yourself. I don't know, maybe you did, and that's why you're watching the video, but all I can do is kind of point the way and hope that you follow in whatever you do. It's important enough for me to tell my story and to let y'all know what happened with me and where I went after the suboxone withdrawal. And I was okay for a while. I was okay for a long time. I was. I wouldn't say a long time. I think it was about 7 or 8 months. Couldn't tell you if I had stayed on suboxone, if I had withdrew on. I couldn't tell you if I had stayed on with suboxone, if I had relapsed on heroin. I can't tell you that. I have no idea. I wish I could, but I can't. Um, all I can tell you is my story. And I hope that you gain some insight on your own situation, on what you're going through. Um, I relapsed before I went to rehab, and I was able to withdraw. It was one of the most painful experiences of my life. My fiance, who's never touched or seen a drug in her life, started finding my needles around, started finding my dope around. Um, and I made it a point to withdraw right then and there, and I was very far deep into heroin. I was balls deep into heroin, and I didn't just wean myself off. I went balls deep the night before I quit. So the withdrawal was absolutely horrendous, and the fact that she saw me in that light, in that darkness rather, was embarrassing. And I can't imagine what she went through, um, because I can't understand that through her eye, through her perspective. I just can't. I know that she's messed up over this entire experience, and the fact that she's still with me is a fucking miracle. Who the fuck knows why the fuck she wants to stay with me? Who the fuck knows? But the fact that she is and she has, well, it's might have something to do with that baby I put in her belly, but surely not. Surely not. She had every right and every reason to leave me, but she didn't. She stuck around and she helped me through the hardest times. And what with this rehab facility that I went to and the money that it's going to cost and that it has cost, there's no reason for her to have stuck around. It's silly, but I appreciate it and I love her to death all the more for it. And guys, if you have any questions, uh, just ask, and please hit it up. anything positive, anything negative. If you think I'm full of shit, let me know. If you think that I've helped you a little bit, let me know. Either way, helping others. I learned this in rehab that helping others in any shape, form, or fashion, as small as it may be, helps me in my recovery. And it does. And when I came home and I saw the emails that I had from people regarding the suboxone withdrawal, all the questions they had, how much it had helped them, and I don't know, it touched me. It touched me, and I don't know. It was important to me. Even the negative things that some people said, at least somebody said something. You know, if I piss you off, I think that's awesome because at least gets you fired up about something, even if it's something negative. You know, feeling anything when you're high is, well, it's hard to do. And if I'm able to make you feel anything from these videos, negative or positive, you know, then I feel like I'm kind of successful, sort of. Um, but if you're withdrawing, I always say I feel for y'all. I've been there, I've done that, not very long ago, and I'm clean. I am completely and utterly fucking clean. I'm taking some sleeping medications because every heroin addict knows it's hard to sleep without them when you're not on heroin. But with that being said, hey guys, much love, and I love y'all very much. I really do. So stay strong, stay in there, and if you're going through withdrawal, just know that you're not the only one. There's many people else out there, and you should absolutely, unequivocally, undeniably make a video. It helps. So with that being said, this is therapeutic within itself for me. I hope it has been for y'all watching. And with that being said, I love y'all again. Much love.